It is 2:13 a.m. A finance user downloads thousands of payroll records. The UEBA dashboard lights up red. Bad, right? Maybe. Now add context. It is the last business day of the month. That team always works late before payroll closes, but this user is new, and nobody in their peer group normally pulls that much data. This is where a UEBA baseline earns its keep or causes damage. If normal is wrong, the alert is wrong. A UEBA baseline is the system's picture of normal behavior. Plain English, it learns what each identity, device, or account usually does, then scores behavior that drifts away from that pattern. A good baseline is not one simple average. It is per user, per peer group, and per time. That means it knows what Alice normally does, what other finance analysts normally do, and what changes on Mondays, nights, weekends, or month-end. In a NIST-style monitoring frame, UEBA supports continuous detection by adding behavioral context to events. It does not prove intent. It raises risk when behavior stops matching the right version of normal. Before UEBA, many SOC teams lived on static rules. 10 failed logins? Alert. Large download? Alert. Login from a new country? Alert. Those rules still matter, but they treat users too much alike. A database administrator, a recruiter, and a payroll analyst do not have the same normal. Without behavior context, analysts chase noise from busy people while missing quiet changes in accounts that usually do very little. The core problem is scale. A SOC cannot manually memorize normal for every user, service account, department, and shift. UEBA tries to keep that memory for the team, then points analysts to behavior that deserves review. Mechanically, the process is simple, even if the math is not. First, UEBA collects events: logins, locations, devices, data access, application use, privilege changes, and network patterns. Second, it builds a per-user history. What does this account usually touch? When? From where? Third, it builds peer groups. Finance users get compared with finance users, engineers with engineers, service accounts with service accounts. Fourth, it adds time. Tuesday morning is not Saturday night. Month end is not a random Wednesday. Then it scores new behavior against those baselines. Day 1 is thin data, so scores are noisy. By day 30, the model has seen repeated patterns, work cycles, and exceptions. That is where signal starts to replace guesswork. Here is a clean SOC example. A claims processor triggers a high UEBA score for accessing far more records than usual. The SIEM shows successful logins and allowed application activity. No malware alert, no blocked control. The analyst opens the UEBA view. Per user baseline says this account usually handles 30 to 40 records a day. Today it touched 400. Pure baseline says other claims processors touched about 60. So this is not just a busy team day. Time baseline shows no normal month-end surge for this group. The analyst checks the HR feed and ticketing notes. The user was temporarily assigned backlog cleanup, but only for one region. The records span every region. That becomes a focused escalation, not a wild accusation. UEBA is strong at finding behavior that basic rules miss. Peer groups catch what per-user history can hide. If a user slowly increases access over time, their own baseline may drift with them, but the peer group may still show they are outside the job norm. Time patterns reduce dumb alerts, because month-end crunch, quarterly reporting, and overnight batch jobs can be normal. But UEBA has limits. It needs clean identity data, good timestamps, stable peer groups, and enough history. It does not replace investigation. It does not know business intent by magic, and it can learn bad normal. If onboarding includes messy permissions or stale accounts, the model may bless behavior the business never wanted. Think of UEBA as a behavior layer in the defensive stack. The SIEM is often the event hub. It stores logs, runs correlation rules, and supports search. UEBA uses many of those same events, then adds behavioral scoring. Identity systems tell it who the user is, what group they belong to, and what role they should have. Endpoint and network tools add device and traffic context. Case management captures the analyst's decision. The best workflow is cross-reference, not replacement. A UEBA alert should send the analyst back to raw logs, identity history, endpoint state, and recent business changes. The score starts the question. Evidence answers it. If you are starting with UEBA, do not begin by trusting every red score. Begin with data quality. Make sure users, departments, roles, service accounts, and terminated accounts are accurate. Build peer groups that match real work, not just org chart boxes. Watch the learning period. Day 1 scores are mostly noise because the model has not seen enough normal. Treat early alerts as training data and validation prompts. Around day 30, review what the system learned as normal. Ask hard questions. Did it learn backup jobs correctly? Did it group executives with assistants? Did it treat stale access as normal? Tune with documented evidence, not vibes. Recap in 3 beats. First, a UEBA baseline is not one average per user. It is per user, per peer, and per time, or it misses the shape of real work. Second, peer groups and seasonality matter. Month-end crunch is not automatically suspicious, and a quiet outlier inside a normal-looking login may still matter. Third, the model must be reviewed. Bad baseline in, false accusations out. Treat day 1 as noise and day 30 as the start of useful signal. If this helped, subscribe. New security tools decoded episode daily, plus the daily right CVE brief on this channel.